Let's have a look at 8 best job interview tips for job seekers. Tip number 1. Conduct research on the employer, hiring manager, and job opportunity. You should understand the employer, the requirements of the job, and the background of the person interviewing you. The more research you conduct, the more you'll understand the employer, and the better you'll be able to answer interview questions. Tip number 2. Review common interview questions and prepare your responses. Ask the hiring manager as to the type of interview to expect. Will it be one-on-one or in a group? Will it be with one person, or will you meet several members of the organization? Your goal is to try to determine what you'll be asked and to compose detailed yet concise responses that focus on specific examples and accomplishments. A good tool for remembering your responses is to put them into a story form that you can tell in the interview. No need to memorize responses, in fact, it's best not to, but do develop talking points. There are excellent tools available to help you with interview questions and responses. Also, consider using the STAR interviewing technique. Tip number 3. Dress for success. Plan out a wardrobe that fits the organization and its culture, striving for the most professional appearance you can accomplish. Remember that it's always better to be overdressed than under and to wear clothing that fits and is clean and pressed. Keep accessories and jewelry to a minimum. Try not to smoke or eat right before the interview, and if possible, brush your teeth or use mouthwash. Tip number 4. Arrive on time, relaxed and prepared for the interview. There is no excuse ever for arriving late to an interview. Short of a disaster, strive to arrive about 15 minutes before your scheduled interview to complete additional paperwork and allow yourself time to get settled. Arriving a bit early is also a chance to observe the dynamics of the workplace. The day before the interview, pack up extra copies of your resume or CV and reference list. If you have a portfolio or samples of your work, bring those along too. Remember to pack several pens and a pad of paper to jot notes. Finally, as you get to the offices, shut off your cell phone. And if you were chewing gum, get rid of it. Tip number 5. Make good first impressions. A cardinal rule of interviewing is to be polite and offer warm greetings to everyone you meet, from the parking attendant to the receptionist to the hiring manager. Employers often are curious how job applicants treat staff members, and your job offer could easily be derailed if you're rude or arrogant to any of the staff. When it's time for the interview, keep in mind that first impressions, the impression interviewers get in the first few seconds of meeting you, can make or break an interview. Make a strong first impression by dressing well, see number 3, arriving early, see number 4, and when greeting your interviewer, stand, smile, make eye contact, and offer a firm but not bone-crushing handshake. Having a positive attitude and expressing enthusiasm for the job and employer are vital in the initial stages of the interview. Studies show that hiring managers make critical decisions about job applicants in the first 20 minutes of the interview. Tip number 6. Remember the importance of body language. While the content of your interview responses is paramount, poor body language can be a distraction at best or a reason not to hire you at worst. Effective forms of body language include smiling, eye contact, solid posture, active listening, and nodding. Detrimental forms of body language include slouching, looking off in the distance, playing with a pen, fidgeting in a chair, brushing back your hair, touching your face, chewing gum, or mumbling. Tip number 7. Ask insightful questions. Studies continually show that employers make a judgment about an applicant's interest in the job by whether or not the interviewee asks questions. Thus, even if the hiring manager was thorough in his or her discussions about the job opening and what is expected, you must ask a few questions. This shows that you have done your research and that you are curious. The smart job seeker prepares questions to ask days before the interview, adding any additional queries that might arise from the interview. Tip number 8. Thank interviewers in person. by email or message. Common courtesy and politeness go far in interviewing, thus, the importance of thanking each person who interviews you should come as no surprise. Start the process while at the interview, thanking each person who interviewed you before you leave. Writing thank you emails and notes shortly after the interview will not get you the job offer, but doing so will certainly give you an edge over any of the other finalists who didn't bother to send thank you notes. Succeeding in job interviews takes research, practice, and persistence. The more effort you put into your interview preparation, the more success you'll see in obtaining job offers, especially if you remember and follow these 8 job interviewing tips. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you for watching.